Let's move on then, and I think we have Amit Dixit who's joined to discuss the big deal that was announced post-market hours on Friday. That's between Tata Steel and the UK government. Hi Amit, good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, we were covering your note earlier when you said that you believe that this is a significant positive for Tata Steel, and that's why you've increased the multiple as well as the target price. But just a couple of points that still remain outstanding or unresolved. One is the employee restructuring cost. Do you expect the employees to come on board? Because some part of the street believes there'll be a tussle out there. And what could be the approximate cost that will be added to Tata Steel's books?
Yeah, good morning, Nigel. So this is certainly an important development from the point of view of business continuity and the sustainability of Tata Steel UK operations. As far as the employee restructuring cost is concerned, well, I see two parts to it. One is that do remember that the EAFs will create a scrap ecosystem in UK. So previously, all the scrap that was being produced, and UK is a good producer of scrap. So this was going out of the country, coming back in form of steel. And now, that would actually generate additional jobs if this scrap is used within the country. The second part, of course, is the restructuring part from transition from BF to EAFs. And that is something that we still need to keep an eye on. In fact, the management was also quite circumspect when they explained on the commentary. They were clear that there would be negotiations that will happen. And after the consultation, only it would be prudent to find out that what exactly would be the restructuring cost. However, they didn't deny that there would be an additional restructuring cost. Now, the extent to which it could be supported by the government still remains to be seen. So there are a couple of moving parts over there, to be honest. And unfortunately, at this stage, I'm not able to put any number on the restructuring part, particularly if when it relates to employees.
Okay. Amit, hi, good morning. The group expects this new facility to see almost 150 to 170 pounds per ton higher spreads. Is that something that you're assuming as well?
Yeah, hi Sonia. So this one, again, this is a number based on, again, a lot of assumptions, I would say, at this stage. Primarily, one of them being that the carbon cost itself was roughly 70 billion pounds every year. And then couple it with the fact that they were not self-sufficient in iron ore, coking coal, and all these things were essentially imported. Now scrap is generated in UK, so the prices would be a little bit more, I would say, less volatile, and that should help them. So 150 to 175 pounds per ton, I would be, in fact, we would watch out for this number, but I don't think that is unachievable. And also do remember that these assets were not exactly in the prime of their health. So this was in the fourth quartile. But the EAF we are talking about is a 3 million ton EAF, which is one of the largest EAFs that could have ever set up in the world. So with these larger EAFs comes also the economies of scale, coupled with the fact that this is going to be a new plant, replacing an old plant which was in the fourth quartile. So I think this 150 to 170 could be achievable, but we will have to wait for the details actually.
Okay, all right. Amit, I wanted to ask you, besides Tata Steel, that's out of the way, you believe this deal is positive, and that's why we've increased target price multiples as well. We have to wait in terms of consultation on this particular employee cost. But for the steel sector on the whole, we have steel prices here in India that have moved up. But now domestic prices are at a premium in comparison to imported steel. Do you see that as a risk to steel pricing here in India? How do you expect prices to move? And what about spreads? Because input costs as well have gone up along with steel prices.
No, so two things here, Nigel. One is that let us break it into flats and longs. So I would tackle longs first. Longs have actually overtaken flats in terms of price action in the month of August, particularly because they were lagging. So if you see the difference between flats and longs, it rose to around 6,400 rupees in the end of July. Traditionally, the difference has been 3,000 rupees. But now as we sit in mid-September, this difference has come down to 2,300 rupees. Now, having said that, flats have remained a little bit more stable in the recent times compared to longs. But longs is also governed by the fact that August was a little bit drier. So you had infrastructure, construction activity picking up. And in pre-election year, typically we find construction and infrastructure picking up. So demand-wise, in fact, my discussion with the dealers, with the companies themselves indicate that August was a pretty steady month. September is even better. And going ahead, we would see that as we enter into the structurally strong construction period, things would be much better for longs. Now, in terms of flats, there is one more thing that is playing out. In India, imported around, the imports of flats was around 3.1 million tons. If you see for the 6 months of calendar year. Now, since April, May, what has happened that the BIS certifications of some of the major companies that used to import in China and Vietnam have not been renewed so far. Now, therefore, imports have not been really booked in the country. If I look at South Korea, which was another importer, South Korea and Japan, they have taken a cautious call that they don't want to export steel meaningfully because of carbon emission constraint. So despite the prices remaining higher, domestic prices remaining higher, two factors, this BIS certification getting delayed, and the fact is that Japan and South Korea are not exactly that active, would play their role. Therefore, we expect these prices to be supported.
Okay, all right. Amit, thanks a lot for explaining that entire equation to us. Thanks for joining in as well.